The sun had just dipped behind the jagged cliffs of the gorge, casting long shadows over the water. For most, it was simply another peaceful evening. But for Ryan Cole, this was the moment his life would be irrevocably changed. He didn't know it yet, but in that quiet, serene place, hidden beneath the beauty of nature, was a secret that would haunt him forever. Ryan had always been drawn to the mountains. There was something about their imposing silence that made him feel both small and free, as if the weight of the world had no place in their shadow. When he heard about the Gorge, a secluded canyon at the edge of the wilderness, untouched by time, he knew it was where he needed to go. It was a chance to escape the chaos of his life, a moment of solitude to reflect on the choices he had made. But when he arrived, he found more than just peace, he found something darker. The first warning signs were subtle. The local villagers had given him strange looks when he mentioned his plans to visit the gorge. "Stay away from the gorge," one old man had told him, his voice hushed as though he was afraid someone might be listening. "Not everyone who goes there comes back." Ryan had dismissed the warning. He was a man of reason, not superstition. People were always afraid of the unknown, and the gorge seemed like the perfect escape. But when he stood at the edge of the canyon looking down at the churning waters below, a strange unease crept into his chest. It was as if something was waiting for him, watching him from the depths. The first night he camped on the gorge's edge, he heard noises in the dark, soft whispers carried on the wind. At first, Ryan thought it was just the rustling of leaves or the call of distant animals, but the sounds were too deliberate, too close. They seemed to follow him, circling the campfire, just out of sight. When he tried to confront the sounds, the air grew heavy, the temperature dropped, and the whispers stopped. But the feeling of being watched didn't fade. The next day, Ryan ventured deeper into the gorge. The walls of the canyon towered above him, narrow and suffocating, as though they were closing in on him with each step. The further he walked, the more oppressive the silence became. The world outside the gorge felt like a distant memory, as if time itself had come to a standstill. It was in the deepest part of the gorge that he found it, a small hidden cave, its entrance almost invisible from the main path. Inside, the walls were covered in strange markings, symbols that seemed to shift and writhe in the flickering light of his flashlight. The air inside was thick, damp, with the smell of earth and decay. At the far end of the cave, there was a large stone altar, its surface stained with something dark and unsettling. Ryan's heart began to race. He knew that he should turn back. He should never have come here in the first place. But the allure of the mystery was too strong. He approached the altar, his hand trembling as he brushed away the dust. Beneath the grime, there was something, an object, half buried in the stone. It was small, cold to the touch, and the moment his fingers made contact, the whispers from the night before returned. Louder, more insistent. Suddenly, the ground beneath him trembled, a low rumble like distant thunder. The cave seemed to come alive, as though it was warning him to leave, but it was too late. Ryan couldn't pull his hand away from the object. He felt a force gripping him, pulling him deeper into the cave, deeper into something ancient and terrifying. In that moment, everything changed. The shadows around him grew darker, thicker, and a figure emerged from the corner of his vision. It was tall, cloaked in darkness, and as it stepped closer, Ryan felt an icy chill in his bones. The whispers grew louder, forming words that he could understand. "You've awakened us." Ryan tried to scream, but his voice was swallowed by the darkness. He tried to pull away, but the stone beneath his feet held him fast. He was trapped. His mind raced as he realized the true horror of the gorge. It was not just a place of natural beauty. It was a prison for something ancient, something evil, something that had been waiting for someone like him to come along. The figure reached out, its hand cold as death brushing against his skin. He could feel its power, its hunger, and he knew then that it had no intention of letting him go. With every ounce of strength, Ryan wrenched himself free. The object clutched tightly in his hand. He ran as fast as he could, back through the narrow passageways, past the markings on the cave walls, through the choking air. But the figure was there, always one step behind him. No matter how fast he ran, no matter how far he tried to go, the gorge seemed to stretch endlessly in front of him, closing in around him. Ryan finally stumbled out of the cave, gasping for breath, but the horrors of the gorge had followed him. He looked around, but the landscape had changed, twisted, distorted. The world he had known was gone, replaced by something ancient, something unearthly. The whispers followed him, echoing in his ears, a reminder that he could never escape. Now, Ryan knows the truth about the Gorge. It is a place of secrets, of forgotten gods, and forbidden rituals, a place that can never be left behind. The more he tries to run, the tighter the grip of the Gorge becomes. The price of waking what should have stayed asleep is steep, and Ryan Cole is paying it every step he takes. The only question now is how long will it be before the Gorge claims him completely? If you like our video, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe our channel. Also, let us know which movie you want next in comment section.